Welcome to the Career Cafe, a place where teenagers ask experts. Today, we will be discussing about architecture as a career over a cup of coffee. We will cover the scope in getting into this field, the study process, and the important skills that make you a good architect. I am your host Arya Dhumal for the architecture episode, and I look forward to getting answers to all of your great questions. Today I have Mr. Ajinkya Dhumar as our architecture expert. He is a principal architect and an interior designer at his self-owned firm with over 18 years of experience. And we look forward to discussing your questions with them. I'm very glad you were able to join us here today, sir. How are you doing?
I'm good, Arya. Thank you.
Okay. So, through the survey that we collected, we got some very interesting questions about architecture as a field and architecture as a career. So one of the very common question we got was, how does one student wanting to pursue architecture go about their studies after 12th grade? For example, what degree courses would you suggest them to study?
So, this is always a question by most of the students, and whenever we go for forums or a juries or we go for a design meets or a conferences. So, basically, those who want to pursue architecture, first of all, they have to have knowledge about an art. They should be a liking towards the art, architecture, and the designing. And basically, in India, there are a lot of new institutions, those who started new degree courses for architecture, that is a Bachelor of Architecture, and Diploma in Interior Designing, Bachelor of Interior Designing, Bachelor of Designing, Bachelor of Product Designing, Bachelor of Space Designing. There are a lot of good institutes in and around Pune in India. Those who are teaching all this. One of the very famous institute is NID, National Institute of Design in Ahmedabad. MIT is one of the second very known institute in Pune, in Loni, and they are really teaching a very good interior designing or bachelor's degree in architecture or designing or product designing. And any student, those who want to pursue, my personal suggestion for everybody is, after 12th, if you want to take an architecture or interior designing or a product designing, anything related to architecture and designing, basically they should uh, basically do their bachelor's 4 years in India. Post that, I feel they should take 1 year or 2 years experience in India, and post that they can take basically a post graduation, probably from Italy or Europe or in Singapore, so that their their architecture and our Indian architecture, that's something which is very uh, familiar with the context of design, basically when it comes to weather, when it comes to solar path analysis, the living habits of the people those are staying in this part of the world. So I think that's what anybody, those who want to pursue architecture studies, they should do in this fashion. Thank you, Arya.
Yes. That's a really good insight as to what degree options and courses options are there for students after 12th. So, talking about degree courses, do you think that a person in architecture industry can be held credible for their work if they don't hold a professional degree, but they do practice architecture? Is their work credible in this industry?
Uh, Technically speaking, there are still a lot of professionals in India, those who don't have the architectural degree or interior designing degree, but they're still doing practicing as an architect or interior designer. But that era has already been gone and which is past. Now all the people, those who want to do architecture or want to do interior designing, they need to have the professional degree or a qualification for this, because with the new government norms and things, there will be a lot of credibility on their shoulders. So I don't think so. Without the degree, the practice of practicing architecture or interior designing will be hold credible. So I think they should definitely take a qualified degree from the school or college.
Yes, yes, I do believe that it is necessary in the coming ages and these years. So, as an architect, do you think it is necessary to build a unique design philosophy even after studying, and how do you do that?
So, as I suggested, once you do complete your architecture, especially from any college in India, and once you got your bachelor's from architecture, I think once you start working with the firm or any senior architect as an intern or as a junior architect or junior designer, basically what happens is you learn completely a different professional management, how the design is being managed, how the design is being made, how the thought process behind every building is being made or every space is being planned. And post that, once you do all these things, it is very necessary for any student to have their own uniqueness of designing the building, designing the spaces when it comes to inside outside spaces or outside inside spaces. Both things are very important, especially in places like India where the population is high. Now India is seeing the different era of architecture because of the new high-rise building, the new unified code which is came into practice. So there are a lot of buildings which is getting designed, and a lot of foreign architects also coming and working in India. A lot of Indian architects are also working in foreign, like in Saudi Arabia, in Muscat, in Oman, in Dubai. So I personally feel they develop their unique style. They develop their own way of designing the the character to the building or a personality to the spaces they give is all because of the experience which they normally gain with the professional practice. And I think good senior architect with 10, 12 years or plus than 15 years of experience, they have their unique way of designing the spaces, unique way of designing the interior spaces, unique way of designing the landscape spaces, and that the urban planning also, or the road development planning, infrastructure planning. And that's very necessary for every architect to have their unique style of designing, and that get developed with the time and with the experience. So basically, my name is Architect Ajinkya Duma. My firm name is Infinity. We have been practicing since last 18 plus years, and our we have a philosophy called ideate, integrate, and implement. So basically, when there is an idea, we try to integrate the idea. We try to understand what that person wants, what that person need. We try to address all the need of that person, which is going to be fulfilled in a future time. Somebody is in the house which is going to grow old. Somebody in the society, those are going to grow old. Somebody in the house who's going to becoming young, the new generation. It should be adaptability with the old generation, new generation, and the mid generation. So basically, all these ideas which comes to our mind, we try to integrate that ideas. We try to break that ideas. We try to convince our client, and then once the ideas get integrated, then we understand the flaws behind it, understanding or addressing any need or wants of the client, and then we try to implement in our own unique fashion of execution or supervision, and then we give the dream home or a dream building or a dream project to the customer, those who comes to us in India. Thank you.
It is very important that one builds their own philosophy, a unique one indeed. And I think that is what's going to keep them running in this industry and using their ideas to make the world a better place. So, when firms are hiring architects, what skills do they look for during recruitment and selection?
So basically, anybody those who are pursuing studying architecture or studying designing or studying product designing, space planning. So architecture is a very vast and one of the very hardest degree when it comes to, if you calculate the degree or if you calculate the bachelor of architecture. It's very hard, unique course basically. So everybody is going to design a different spaces when you are in a college or when you are learning something. But when it comes to recruitment, whatever you learn in a college, the basic skill of drawing, the basic skill of presentation, the basic skill of communication, the language of architecture, the language of design philosophy, understanding the context of the site, understanding the context of the buildings, understanding the context of the environment nearby the site, and what are the new development which is going to come in the future. So based on that, all your syllabus has been planned for architecture student or interior design student. So once you pursue your entire architecture, and once you're coming for recruitment in any offices, small scale or a large scale offices, any architect, a senior architect, those who are taking your interview, they definitely see what you did in your college. So you have to take your college studies, your thesis, and all your submissions very seriously. So every single line, every single text, every single drawing, every single plan, elevation, the theory behind the design, or the philosophy behind your design, you should able to market it. You should able to sell it, or you should able to talk about that particular thing to the senior architect, and that's the main criteria while hiring anybody. Second most important thing is the communication skill, and third very important is attitude while you learning something, and while you are doing something, creating something, and while you are presenting something to someone. So I think these three are very important things, especially when it comes to Infinity. In our office, we make sure that we are addressing all these things so that it will be kind of balance of the overall design philosophy, the communication philosophy, and the presentation philosophy. So we actually give similar weightage to all these three. Thank you.
Yes, I do agree that all of these skills are very necessary, especially the ones like self-management and communication. And I think in today's education, we all students have been developing these skills from a very young age. Another very good question was, what entry-level jobs can architecture students expect after completing the Bachelor of Architecture?
So once you complete a Bachelor of Architecture or any Bachelor of Design in the architecture or design field, I'm purposely focusing, you're asking me more questions on architecture, and I'm talking about architecture and design basically. So if you finished your architecture degree, or if you finish your design degree or something, I personally feel you can look look after joining any small firm as a junior architect, or as a senior architect, and you can really start learning the architecture from the day one of your office days, and you will understand the professional practice. Then you will understand there are a lot of avenues which get opened when you complete your degree in architecture and design. So basically, space planning, product designing, landscape designing, urban planning. Digital architecture is also a very new field which is very in nowadays. If you heard about these architects, they are doing very fluid architecture. So there are a lot of styles of architecture. There are a lot of styles of designing. There Art Deco is there. The Roman architecture is there. There is a whole entire world is having a different way of making the buildings, understanding their context of design. Sustainability is a new thing which is in picture nowadays, and I think everybody, you can be a environment architect, you can be a green building architect, you can be a product sales manager for big product companies, or furniture brands, or probably a product which wanted to come in India from Europe or US or abroad. So I think there are a lot of avenues which get open, so you won't get stuck to one thing. It's multifold, and the possibilities are infinite once you complete your degree of architecture.
Okay, that was a really great insight. So you talked about digital architecture. Could you put more emphasis on drafting technologists as a job? What is the job outlook, the future job outlook for this particular job?
So drafting skills are very different. So basically, when normally in first 2 3 years, or probably when we finished our degrees in 1999 or in 2000, that time most of the drafting, or all related to drafting, used to happen manually with the chart paper, with the T squares, set squares, and everything. And nowadays, mostly most of the architecture is happening on the AutoCAD, happening on Revit, happening on building information management, happening on 3D Max, then Photoshop, and then Revit, and V-Ray, and Maya. So most of the architecture has been converted to a digital drafting in last probably 5 years mainly. And I feel that's the future of architectural drafting skills or presentation skill. The presentation has become so amazing now. Before even the building has been you start doing any construction of a building or any interior designing of a spaces, it is you have the complete view or the 3D renders or a walkthrough of that particular building ready in front of you. So all the flaws of the any design flaws or any issues related to space planning get completely addressed with the digital architecture or digital drafting, not digital architecture, but digital drafting.
Yes, it is indeed seen that the world is evolving.
Yes.
Do you agree that architects practically run the society?
Yes, architects practically runs the society, as well as they make sure that the people, those who are staying in the building, they are staying in the habitat, they make their life ease, they make the whole community or the society's life ease with all this pandemic and all these new challenges coming in picture. The density of population is increasing throughout the world. So I personally feel architects are the future of the generation, because what you actually leaves behind is the buildings. Even you go away, or it's self creation, and all the architects or all the designers in the world, they love their places, and they should love their places, and they should make the space so good that even after you're not there, the space should talk about your design, the society, or the particular era when that building is already been made.
Yes, it is. It is indeed very true that it captures the culture and the creativity of a particular person. And I think that is what gives a lot of diversity to the world. So, as we agree that everyone lives in buildings and drives on bridges that architects design, has it ever happened to you that your designs have flaws after being completed? What do you, as an architect, as a principal architect, deal with those? How do you deal with those?
So when we call it as a practicing architect, we are always practicing till the end of our life, till the day we are holding the pencil and we're doing some sketches. So we are always practicing architect. So no professional or ever content about whatever the work they have ever done. Lot of buildings, lot of spaces which we design, there are some mistakes, the human error. There are some mistakes which happen because the client wants something else, and we client need something else, and we try to give something else. So it does happen that some errors does come in such kind of execution level, because it's end of the day, it's a very human centric business. So it does happen that there are some errors which comes to picture, but we make sure in our organization, at least every site we complete, we try to make a slack list. We try to get the OPM made, that is the organizational process assets, and we try to understand where we did a mistake. We make the asset out of it, and then once we do the asset out of it, we make sure that we address that subject very nicely, and we should not repeat the same error which we did before. So in architecture or in any designing, when the client comes to you, the design brief is a very, very important part, and one of the most important part in design process. Second most important part is how you are going to address the design brief, and how you're going to address the entire needs and wants of the clients, and how you're going to bridge the gap between the needs and the wants of the client. So basically, this makes the whole architecture practice stands between these two pillars: what a client needs and what a client wants, and what designer want to give, and what how designer is going to apply his mind to addressing his wants of the client, or the end user. So that's how this entire process has been driven, and the process is every client is a different processes, every project is a different process, but there are some very basic processes: is a design brief, noting down data collection from the site, and basically the material sustainable material uses in the buildings, and understanding the new methods and technologies which is coming in the picture when it comes to execution of the building, or raising a new infrastructure, what is happening in the world, what is going to happen in the world. So your building should be future ready. Your building should be human centric. Your building should be sustainable, because of the water is going to be one of the rare element in few coming years. So we have to make sure that whatever we are using the technology or the building material or the sustainable building materials has to be used with a lot of sense of taking care of the future environment benefits.
That is very right. Sustainability is going to be the key to the future. You have done many projects, several projects, commercial and residential, in your 17 to 18 years of experience. What would you describe a day in life of an architect as?
Day and life of an architect is basically when you complete a project, when and you get that satisfaction, that which we call it as a work satisfaction, or the unique building design, and when people talk about the building, when people use that building, they praise you about what you did for them, and that's whole achievement, and that's one of the most satisfying probably appreciation you ever get from any job in the world. I think this is the best profession ever. And undoubtedly, it's a very hectic. You live your design, you eat design, you sleep in your design process. You design when you are sleeping, and you're sleeping, your body is sleeping, but you get tired because you design the whole building in your mind, and next you want to go on a paper, go on your with your sketch pens, and you have to design everything and get out of it. So it's a different kick.
Yes, that's very right.
So in the entire any design office, the office has to be very synchronized. It has to be very well communicated, well nurtured, so that whatever there are a lot of divisions in architecture. The structural designing is there, interior space planning is there, architecture is there, design brief and presentations and 3D visualization and walkthroughs and material selection, mood boards and everything. So it has to be all sync. As a senior architect or the principal architect of the firm, I have to make sure that whatever the services, whatever the design philosophy, whatever is the unique design ideas, whatever the sustainability definitions should be addressed, and it should be a holistic product which we are offering to our clients. So the entire office has to be working one sync in one line of communication, and they have to make sure that they are doing the best.
You have given us a really great insight, really great vision into the field of architecture. And I'm sure that all the listeners listening to this right now appreciate all the answers that you've given us today. And I'm really grateful for you joining us. Thank you so much.
I say thank you, Arya, for calling me on this platform and speaking about architecture and design. And I hope all the best for the new generation to take up architecture and designing as their career, and do the best in their life and do little more, so that this entire society will be a living and loving habitat for all of us. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you
you
very
so much,
much.
sir. I think this discussion gave me a good perspective into architecture, and I hope that my listeners feel so too. As for the next episode, we will be inviting a medicine expert over for some hot chocolate. If medicine is a field that you're interested in, I would ask you to stay tuned for some great discussions. We hope to see you back at the Career Cafe. Until then, we would love to know how you feel about these discussions. So please do leave your reviews and share this podcast. To learn more, follow us on our Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook page. We would love to know more about our listeners.